Alright, so who we here with?
Big Crime, big KLB shit.
Alright, for sure. Well, so what KLB stand for? Yeah, that's been I think for a minute.
KLB stand for mad different things, but originally it stood for Krimelife Boys. That's still one of the acronyms for it, but it also stands for like other things like knowledge, loyalty, brotherhood, you know what I'm saying? Like kindness, love, and blessings, you know what I'm saying? Crime life also could be broken down in an acronym as well, you know what I'm saying? As like knowledge released in music and entertainment, that's a KRIME. So it's like it's a that type of lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Like basically taking the experiences that I've been through and like shit that I've gone through throughout my life and then putting that in my music so that people could basically live vicariously through those things that I'm expressing in my music and they could learn from that. That's basically what that's all about.
Alright, so yeah, shit, the viewers gonna know it's a change of scenery on this one. Feel me? ABG Fake did an interview with P Films talking about y'all relationship before we got a chance to drop part 1 of our interview. So it's gonna be in the mix with that interview. But yeah, I'm gonna ask you basically about that video and shit he was talking about because he made a lot of allegations.
Alright.
But now my first question really though, so how'd you get introduced to ABG, like ABG Neal personally?
Well, hold on. Before that, real quick, let me just one thing, right? And let me just say this, because and you can attest to this. I'm not capping. That I didn't even know about the interview until I called wind of it. Somebody sent me the interview. You heard? And then you know what I'm saying. You know who sent me the interview. So somebody sent me the interview. And I didn't know about the interview. And I wasn't even worried about it. And then upon seeing the interview and everything that was said in the interview, that's why I decided that's why we're here, type shit.
Basically though, yeah.
All right, so you said...
Basically, yeah. How did you get introduced to ABG Neal?
I got introduced to him back in like end of 2017, probably like what's the 11th month? November, yeah.
What's at the 11th month?
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, November,
yeah. By numbers and shit. So probably like around like that time, give or take, niggas met into 2018 through I was living at my man's crib in Brownsville. My son Kobe. Well, nah, it's not my son. It's some day room nigga. But
was that ABG's manager?
He was like a fake manager or whatever. Like,
cause that's what he said in the interview. He said he used to live with his manager or something like that.
Basically, like niggas called him a manager, but that was just like so that niggas could just basically give it an easier explanation of a title instead of like. But he was really just somebody he was really an A&R that worked at a label but knew us outside of that, but fucked with our music heavily enough that essentially he was like kind of the bridge at one point. Him and another person that was also living in that crib were basically like the bridge of us into like the resources that were basically at the label type shit, but not anything like officially or on paperwork or like there was no money involved. It was just like if you meet somebody and
on some genuine shit.
Yeah, if you meet somebody and they just so happen to fuck with you outside of everything, and then on top of that, they just so happen to be a little bit of in a loop that they got their foot in the door that they could kind of, you know what I'm saying? That's all that was. But yeah, I guess you could call it a manager, but he wasn't our manager ever. He wasn't my manager never.
But yeah, so that's how you got introduced to ABG through him.
Yeah, basically he kept telling me, he was like, yo, you gotta meet this nigga ABG. And he was like, yo, you gotta meet this nigga ABG. I think y'all niggas would click. I think y'all niggas would, you know what I'm saying, fuck with each other, hit it off, whatever, woo. He was like, yo, y'all got type of, basically what he said is like, y'all got kind of like similar, you know, interest or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
So he was like, y'all should tap in musically, and he
not even musically specifically, but it just so happened that was a part of it, but
just on like, some regular shit. You
I was more into the music shit that whole time, and when we met, it wasn't about no music. It's not like we met, went to the studio, or we met and like you know what I'm saying, like we was at like a label meeting or something, like we met outside of all that, and then like everything that happened after that was developed from first like personally, you know what I'm saying, linking and being in the streets and shit like that, not like set like, oh, meet this guy, you know what I mean? It was like after we met, it was like niggas clicked in whatever type of way, and then it just got to the point where kept linking, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then obviously if I'm making music, I'm in the stew, and he, you know, make some type of music or whatever the case is, you feel me, then that's where it kind of just went hand in hand.
Nah, for sure, yeah. Alright, so yeah, so y'all linked up, y'all was cooling, y'all was chill. He said, so you basically got cool with who he was cool and shit like that, and they became your friends, shit like that.
Yeah, like regular shit.
That's nothing crazy, yeah.
You know what I mean? If you get introduced to somebody and they fuck with you enough, then the people that fuck with them is gonna fuck with you, and it's just like, that's just how it went, you know?
Yeah, personally, yeah, that happened for me. That happened to me before, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it works. You become cool with somebody in a different, for me, atmosphere, and then you get introduced to their friends, you get cool with them. You know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing crazy.
And vice versa, because, you know what I'm saying, like, it's not like you meet, we both met people through each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just regular, common, any type of
like, yeah, nah, that's nothing, yeah, that's nothing crazy,
you know,
though.
we running around, it's like, I've introduced him to people that, or he's introduced me, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, like.
Nah, for sure, though. Yeah, so first thing I'm gonna really get into what he was saying. He says the shit that started y'all beef was, for me, cause he didn't come visit you, and then he also said later on in the interview, he was like, it was because he cut you off because he said you was he felt you was being ungrateful.
Yeah.
Is there any truth to that? Is there another reason why y'all fell out, or?
There's no truth to that, because at the end of the day, there was no specific point in time that anybody could say, especially him, could say that we stopped, you know what I'm saying, that we stopped talking or whatever the case is, you feel me? Like, he can't say, like, because there was no established, like, especially before I came home, it wasn't cut off or anything along those lines. Like, for the longest time, even though we didn't have the like, he tried to say too, like, if we had so much communication and like if we talked all the time and all this other shit, and it's like, that's just not.
You talk about why he was in jail, right?
Yeah, because you got to think about it, right? Like, and then another thing, like saying like, oh, I only did 2.5 years to kind of like almost like minimize the situation, you know what I'm saying? When the nigga never did a bit himself either way, so it's like you speaking on shit that is like you're not even in that category to even speak on that, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the nigga can't say that he cut me off a long time or because of this or because of that, because at the end of the day, even though he wasn't communicating, when people would ask me about him, or when people would, you know what I'm saying, like refer to him to me or whatever the case is, I still would basically, you know, I would keep it very vague almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would basically be like, nah, yeah, he good, you heard, da-da-da-da, you know what I'm saying? Like, that nigga is doing this, that, da-da-da-da, kind of like just, you know, how you play it off, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that nigga's, he lit, he doing da-da-da-da, woo, he Gucci, woo, woo, yeah, you know what I mean? Shit like that. So, that's cap, you heard? Like, to say that it was because he felt I was ungrateful in jail and this and that, da-da-da-da, I don't know how he could feel that I felt ungrateful, because I've never came out and did anything spiteful or disrespectful, nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never went out of my way to bring any type of, like, negative, I never, you know what I mean? I never did nothing like that, you heard? I'm not that type of nigga, you feel me? So, you know what I mean? So the nigga talking about I was ungrateful, whatever the case is, the reason why that doesn't make sense to me either, if you talking about when I was locked up, because I never asked the nigga for nothing while I was locked up, you heard? So the funny thing is, he tries to spin the narrative like if he used to send me all this money and this and that and all that. Bro, I was locked up for 3.5 years, bro. Whether niggas have done more time, less time, whatever the case is, that's still 3.5 years straight that I spent not in the free world, you heard? And that nigga was not
doing the things that he's trying to make it seem like he did, to almost make it seem like if I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm not whatever the case is, like if I, you know what I mean, took that and was like, oh, that's not good. And like, it wasn't even about that, because at the end of the day, I never needed or wanted that nigga's bread, you heard? All I ever wanted.
So he just sent you saying he sent off the muscle though?
Off the muscle? Nah, it would be some shit like, yo, we'd be on the phone and nigga would be like, yo, so what's good, da 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 da. And I'll be like, nah, ain't shit, regular shit, you know what I mean, this going on. There's nothing really to talk about when you in jail, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, this happened, that, regular shit. And then nigga would be like, I bet. So you need anything? And I'd be like, nah, you know I'm good, whatever the case is. I would always brush it off, you know what I'm saying? Whether I would be in a position of, you know what I'm saying, like, a nigga in jail could always use some extra support, you know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I felt like him asking me that is almost like, you know I'm gonna not say yeah to that, you know, because of my pride, you know what I'm saying? So I used to, for the longest time, because when I first got locked up, I had my own bread. So all this sending me so much bread and all, I didn't ask niggas for money, you heard? And
I think he's saying he sent you like a band or something.
And it wasn't even a band. It was like 700 or not, some weird number like that, 750, 850, some shit like that, whatever the case is, in one shot. And that was because, well, I can't even really speak on it, but you know what I'm saying, there's certain shit that, you know what I mean, like niggas was basically, you know what I mean, niggas be involved in certain shit, whatever the case is, you know what I mean? And I used that bread that one time to basically essentially live off of that, you know what I mean, make it into more bread, whatever the case is, however that may be. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
But this nigga act like he fucking, like he was the reason why I was fed or something, and that's just not the case, bro. You heard? Like, I didn't ask this nigga for nothing, and the only time that I would even entertain it is when the nigga would be like, yo, how much you need? And I'll just be like, yo, bro, whatever, you heard? Like, literally, my answer, whatever you want to send, you heard? Just send whatever you got, whatever you want to send. I said, yo, gangster, I don't care if it's $5, $10, $20, just send whatever you got, send it. I'm going to appreciate that, you heard?
Yeah, that's another thing to not really, like, for me, when you in jail, like, when you in jail, you find out who really fuck with you through, like, shit like that, who send you bread, looks out for you, because, you know what I'm saying, some money goes a long way in jail. That's nothing to really, feel me,
I don't know.
Dwell on.
A lot of the shit being brought up was irrelevant, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, but the next topic, though, honestly, to me, was the most interesting one. He claimed he ain't getting no money off Forrest Gump. Feel me? Is that true, or?
I don't know if that's true, because number one, I'm not a fucking entertainment lawyer, and number two, I don't work at a record label, and number three, I was in prison that whole time. He didn't sign no deal. He didn't even sign to the same label I signed to.
He signed that when he was in jail?
He signed a different deal while I was in jail. And the nigga essentially, nigga signed a whole nother deal while I was in jail, and it was completely separate from whatever I had going on, you feel me? So I don't understand how he talking about he lost bread or didn't make this or that. That's your problem. I don't got nothing to do with that. That shit don't got nothing to do with me. I didn't take no money from the nigga, and if he's salty about that, I don't know what the fuck, like, I didn't cause him to not make no bread off that shit. I don't know nothing about that, gangster. Like, gangster. It's so real, I don't even make no bread off of Forrest Gump. Like, at the end of the day, when that song came out and it started gaining traction, I literally was already fighting 3 cases, you heard? So I was fighting 2 cases before any of that, before I assigned to Alamo, before I met Neal, any of that, from fucking 2016, 2017, shit like that. And then fighting those cases on bail, caught another case, and that's how I got locked up. And right before I ended up going to jail is when I signed that deal for, you know what I'm saying, with Alamo and shit like that, or whatever the case is. So if he mad, nigga, I don't give a fuck, nigga. I ain't getting no bread off that shit neither, nigga. What the fuck? And he was able to get money off of other shit while he was outside in the town off of the records that we made together, which is really my records that I put him on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he was making songs that I was featuring on, and then we blew up or whatever the case is. It's not like before he met me, he had millions of views and millions of. He didn't have. It's not like he had hit songs and he had a cult fan base and It's like it wasn't none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't no type of seriousness to his music. You feel me? So I mean, I don't know. I don't understand how he's salty about that, because while I was locked up, I was making bread out the mud, doing what I had to do basically to survive for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Because the people that I was dependent on, you know what I mean, I didn't like the fact that they would have to do certain things to provide for me. You heard? So, and that's another reason why I never asked him for bread. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the only time he ever gave me bread is when he offered it. And of course, a nigga in prison is not gonna say no if he's in a situation where I'm not getting paid from this record label. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Nah, that's a fact. So yeah, basically, yeah, you saying shit, it was higher than you. That wasn't you, feel me, specifically. Basically, y'all both got finesse out the money, is what you're saying.
I guess, yeah. I didn't know nothing about no labels, nigga.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about contracts and shit. I was outside. Nigga said they offered me some bread. I was about to go to prison. I signed that shit and I did my time. Gangsta, it's that simple.
Alright, bet. Yeah, so his next claim was, he said you wasn't from Brooklyn. He said, oh, he from upstate New York. He said basically he gave you his hood to Jack, some shit like that. Like, is there any truth to that, or?
Number one, bro, nobody in the world talks about this one street that he's talking about he gave somebody or that he claims or whatever. Like, nobody, first of all, nobody cares. At the end of the day, like, nobody cares. It's not, this isn't like a project, or like this isn't like a world-renowned neighborhood or block or street. Like, this isn't something that like it shouldn't even be a discussion to argue about for him to be claiming the shit to say somebody. And I don't claim that block. You heard? Like, it's not even a block. That shit is just a regular part of Brooklyn, like many other regular parts of Brooklyn. You heard? Like, so, and then saying I'm not from Brooklyn. This is the funny part about that too, you heard? Because it's like, perception is everything. And at the end of the day, it's like, he wants to say I'm not from Brooklyn because he's like, oh, he wasn't born in Brooklyn. And just because I wasn't born and raised in Brooklyn doesn't mean that, first of all, throughout my childhood, half of my whole family has lived in Brooklyn and lived in the city, the Brooklyn and the Bronx. So throughout my childhood, growing up, I was back and forth all the time, going to the city, whatever the case is, before I ever lived there. And the only reason why I was living upstate, moving around in different places upstate, was because I was going through multiple different custody switch situations through my childhood as well, through the family court system. So I was living with my mom, then I was living with my dad, then I was living with my grandma, then I was living with my dad, then I was living with my grandma, then I was living with my other grandmom. So those are all the times that I lived upstate when I was under the care of them, you feel me? And then when I came home from a little juvenile detention center thing that I did for like 60 days type shit, I came back and I was in and then by the time this happened too, my mom, my step-pops, my sister, all of them had already moved to Brooklyn and shit, you heard? So every time that I was with my mom's family and everything like that, I was in Brooklyn. Then I moved to Brooklyn, then I was living with them. I was living with them for, I don't even know, probably like 5 years. Graduated high school from FDR, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And then I lived in Brooklyn as an adult on my own, you heard? So it's like, as an adult and going through my teenage years and my young adult years and like jumping off the porch, doing certain shit, like, you know what I mean? Like being in the streets, like, you know what I mean? Getting arrested, getting charged with shit. Even though nigga said that he introduced me to the street life, I've been catching cases since I was 14 years old. It's not something that I'm proud about, but it's a reason why I even have my name, you heard? Like, I caught a case every year since I was 14 years old. So, you know what I mean? I don't even know how many, that's like what, like, before I got locked up when I was 20, yeah, so I got locked up when I was 20, caught my first case when I was 14, and caught a new case every year until I went to prison. And the majority of my cases, and all 3 of the cases that I got locked up for, was violent. So it's like, niggas talking about I wasn't in the streets, all this other shit. It's not something that I need to even prove or nothing, because everybody knows what like, niggas that's been outside and been around me, like, if you talk to people who actually have a name, actually have a voice that people would actually, like, verify and listen to, like, not somebody who has no street credibility, like, niggas would vouch for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've I've been outside. You heard, whether it was gangbanging, not gangbanging, whatever the case is. Not even addressing that. Like I've always been a criminal. I've always been arrested in and out of different. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. So niggas delusional.
I bet. Yeah. So yeah, that brings me to the next one. Like he was like, he basically said you took his life and ran with it. Like
Yeah. Niggas said I took his life and ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what the fuck that means, but what's your response to that? Like, that's kind of a big claim, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, here's the thing, right? This is the funniest part. He don't even know who he is himself. So the nigga gonna tell me I took his life and ran with it, and that I basically took his whole persona and made that who I am. But at the end of the day, nothing about who he is or what he does is anything that has any correlation to what I do, you heard? So that's why it's like, I don't understand what this nigga be coming up with in his head, and then he believes the shit, you heard? Like, nigga really believes himself. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I can't, how can I have adopted this nigga's life when as soon as I get locked up, like literally as soon as I get locked up, the nigga completely plummeted in everything, like whether it be in or out of the streets, like nigga completely just fell off, did bad, everything you could possibly imagine as soon as I'm out of the picture. So if you just do the simple common math, it's like, how the fuck was I living your life? And how the fuck was I, if that's the case, you didn't even live up to your own life. You was a persona, like a fraud, you know what I'm saying? Like what you had people expecting, you was over here jacking this, jacking that, you know what I'm saying? You was over here jacking this K, jacking that K, and then I get locked up, and not too short after that, I'm in solitary confinement, I'm on the phone, and niggas is telling me this nigga gets violated. Then not shortly after that, all of a sudden this nigga goes ghost. Then not shortly after that, you know what I'm saying? This nigga just goes on the internet and basically says all the names of all the niggas that violated him while it's basically an open case. And then after that, it's like it just keeps going on. And I'm just trying to be like, nah, fuck it, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I had whatever type of loyalty to the nigga, nah, fuck it. And then after that, niggas is talking about, oh yeah, that nigga's not no more heat. Oh, this nigga's jacking, all types of shit. Niggas be hood hopping, running around, jacking this, jacking that, falling back, falling under here, under this, under that. Basically, whoever picks them up, you heard? Like, so I don't do that, you heard? Like, at the end of the day, like, I always, ever since I became or been a part of any type of community, since I've been in, you know what I'm saying, really outside and anything like that or whatever the case is, I never stopped being, you know what I'm saying, around those same type of people, you heard? Like, as far as I'm still around my people, I'm still around the guys, I'm still around, like, niggas know, you heard? Like, and I'm outside every day, gangster, every day, in the same places that niggas say I'm not from and can't go, which I say I'm from Sunset, you heard? Like, I don't even know why niggas is arguing about a street that's in Bay Ridge, like.
Yeah, the last two really claims he made, he said, at the end of the video, he said before he put you on or whatever, he said you got beat up by dykes or some shit like that. and then he said you got beat up by dudes trying to flirt with your girl on your block, some shit like that. Like, what's your response to that? Like, is that facts? Is that cap?
Yo, this is I didn't even watch, no funny shit, I didn't even watch the whole
You didn't watch it till the end?
Yeah, so I didn't even know he said that either. Yo, but the best part about that is that he just keeps giving me more and more ammunition to just show how he's just a pathological liar. Like, and he's just basically, like, he's just literally, like, he's sick in the head, and like, that nigga's delusional. Both of those stories, because mind you, when he explained it, did he explain it from the perspective of knowing it, like he know it, like he was telling it, like it was his story?
Nah, he just said that happened. He didn't say no details.
So basically, what the nigga did was he took two stories that I told him, and for whatever reason brought it up out of I don't know for what. Cause all right, so first I'm gonna explain the story, right? So It's a funny story actually. So boom, I was living in these peas and goannas, right? And fast forward, I had a roommate, and I was renting a room in this crib, you heard? And basically, one of the roommates was a lesbian, and she had a thing for my girl, you heard? And essentially, like, she didn't like me and my girl would like argue about shit or whatever the case is, and she would get salty because like she had like fake feelings for my bitch, you feel me? So long story short, one day me and my bitch get in an argument or whatever. My shorty leaves the crib to go pick up her daughter or whatever. My shorty at the time, not my kid. So she goes to pick up her daughter downstairs in the elevator, you heard? And the door that I had, the doorknob didn't work. Like you could basically close the door, but it would never lock or really fully close. You know what I'm saying? So I thought the door was like closed or whatever, and I was chilling in the room or whatever. And I was blasting music, bumping off of the TV, and these bitches basically came in the room. There was more bitches that pulled up, you heard? Other than the other lesbian bitch, it was 2 more of them bitches. So one of them bitches had pepper spray, one of them bitches had a taser, and one of them bitches had a bat, you heard? So basically, boom, they came in the room, and they was like, so you're not gonna leave? And I was like, what? And they was just like, so the other girl that lived there or whatever that we was renting from, they was like, so she asked you to leave, you not gonna leave? I'm like, what? Yo, y'all niggas is bugging. So I brushed it off. I didn't think nothing of it, you heard? And it's not like they was like showing me all these weapons and shit, you heard? Like they must have had it like in like the taser must have been in their pocket, pepper spray in the pocket, the bat. It was like three like one person, and one person. So I wasn't even really. So anyways, I brushed it off, and I just went back to what I was doing, like whatever, like, you know what I'm saying, like. And these bitches dad snuck me with the bitch tased me, you heard? And that shit caught me by surprise. So I was like, oh shit, I reacted to getting tased, and when I spun around, I got pepper sprayed, you heard? So then at that time my eyes was black, you heard? And this is the first time I ever got pepper sprayed in my life, you heard? Gangsta on my rock. First time I ever, or tased. I never been tased or pepper sprayed. So boom, so the bitch tased me, the shit makes me jerk. I twist around and then I get pepper sprayed. So now I'm basically, and then the third bitch starts fucking like hitting me with the bat and shit, you heard? So now I'm basically, and I had long hair, I always had long hair. So boom, pepper spray tased, boom. So now I'm like, oh shit, boom, bitch starts grabbing me by my hair. I ain't gonna lie, they start wilding me up, you heard? Gangsta, they was tasing me and kept pepper spraying me and hit me with that shit. I was like tussling with them, swinging, you know what I mean? Like I would get one of them off of me, then I couldn't see nothing, and I could barely breathe because the pepper spray had me like I couldn't breathe, you heard? So I ain't gonna lie, I was going through it, you heard? Like they didn't put no marks on me or nothing because I was fake. I had a hold of all of them at one time, you feel me? But yeah, you know what I mean? So anyway, so then they spun off. My bitch came back, she started getting crazy or whatever the case is, like, yo, what happened, da da da. I'm still sitting there like I can't see. I've never been pepper sprayed in my life, ever. So I'm over there like fucking like snot coming out my nose and shit. I'm over here trying to put water on my face, it's making it worse, like I can't see nothing. So anyway, so she come in, she helped me or whatever, and fucking somebody had called the boys, and they pulled up to the apartment. But when they pulled up to the apartment, my girl, she actually had a black eye, you heard? So when they pulled up to the apartment, the police come in there, and the bitches basically try to get the police to arrest me. So then they was in there asking my girl if she was alright, da da da, and she's like, nah, like you here for them, da da da, like they did this, da da. So it was some whole crazy shit, and one of the bitches actually got booked because she had fucking the taser or some shit or whatever the case is. Like I guess she just kept
She had it in her pocket, bro.
Yeah, she just kept it in her pocket.
Yo.
So when they came and they was over there trying to get them to arrest me, the bitches lied on them. I mean, told on themselves and told them like, oh yeah, we just da da da, but try to make it seem like, oh, we did it for her honor, da da da. So one of the bitches fake got in a little bit of trouble for the taser. The other bitches stayed, and then basically that was that. You heard? Like, and then what was the other story? Oh, that some nigga popped on me because I said he was trying to holler at my bitch. bitch or something?
Yeah, but that should sound like some fucking rush hour shit, bro.
He never tell you.
What?
This is what you
But
gotta,
nah, yeah. Alright, so what you talk? Yeah.
This is what you really gotta understand about this nigga, and what you gotta understand about anybody that really is a pathological liar, bro. Nigga, see how he's just taking a little piece of his story, and I told you the whole story, and it's like you talking about me getting hopped in my crib by bitches that I wasn't even. These is not my ops. These is not. I'm not worried about them compared to you getting hopped and going straight to the police and giving them a whole rundown of what weapons was used, telling them that you got jumped, all that. Like, if you need medical attention, you don't have to give no information other than the fact that you need medical attention. You call the ambulance right now, and you tell them that you having an asthma attack, they coming. You tell them you having a heart attack, they coming. You tell them anything medically related, they coming. You don't have to tell them that there was a crime involved and the reason why that you hurt. But you over here explaining my situation, and I didn't call the cops. You heard? Like, anyways, so the other situation this nigga talking about, another situation that he took a story, one part of a story that he heard me tell one time, made into his own story, added a little bit of his razzle dazzle to it. So anyways, what happened with that is, boom. There was this girl that I had sold her some weed one time, and I had skimped her. This was back in the day when I was a young nigga. Like, I was probably like, I don't even know. I was probably like 15 or 16 years old.
Well, nah. He said it was recently or something. He said you didn't tell him, but he said, I'm gonna tell you right now. He said,
what's this nigga talking about?
So he said you basically through the grapevine heard it, like somebody in the streets, cause he's basically saying he in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, somebody told him.
That nigga's not in the streets, bro.
But somebody told him, he jacked, somebody told him that you was with a girl, your girl, you know what I'm saying? And some dude on your block tried to holler at her, and then you got out, tried to fight him, and then he beat you up. That's what he claimed. He said that was like recent, so I said within like 90 days, some shit. Is that's cap?
No, gangster. Word of my mother, that never happened, bro.
So, alright, my son got witnesses and shit.
Nothing ever happened, nothing like that, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, first of all, nobody's ever even tried to holler at my bitch in my presence before. That's, like, literally a fact. Because, like, that's just, my bitch don't even be outside, you heard? Like, my girl literally does not go outside. And then on top of that fact, like, she's just not even one of them girls, you heard? Like, a lot of people, crazy thing is like, a lot of people don't even know I have a girl or who my girl is because of how low-key it is, you feel me? How low-key she is and how low-key I keep my relationship with her and shit, you feel me? But, I don't know, that's cute that he said somebody tried to holler at her and I popped on them and they beat me up or whatever. I don't know, that makes no sense, bro, I ain't gonna lie.
So before I get into your response to that, is there anything else he mentioned in that interview that you want to address that we didn't talk about yet? Or we talked about everything?
Shit, that nigga's just a liar, bro. There really wasn't a lot of truth to what he said. I'm not gonna say that 100% of what he said was just a flat out a lie, but he basically took a bunch of different little bits and pieces of information, took them out of context, stretched it, put his own flavor on it to make it fit his narrative, and essentially is using that so that he could gain people to support him as far as saying to discredit me or to say that he's a reputable street nigga or he's active or niggas jack him or he really didn't do bad or look at what it's like. I don't know. So it's like the nigga he said he talked to me so much throughout my bid, right? So if the nigga talked to me so much throughout my bid, why would he for no reason blatantly say that I did 2.5 years while he's trying to discredit me and say, oh, he act like he was on death row, da-da-da, which is the corniest thing anybody could say, bro, because anybody who been locked up, niggas don't wish that upon nobody unless, you know what I'm saying, like you a fucking rapist or some shit, you know what I mean? But like, you don't wish jail on nobody. He didn't wish jail on me, but it's just that like hater type of like, oh, he only did this amount of time and acted like it was that. I didn't act like nothing. He never explained how I acted like I was on death row. Like, nigga, at the end of the day, I acted like like I was in prison, you heard? Like, that's not a place nobody want to be. Nigga talking about I did 2.5 years, said he had so much communication with me, but somehow just scratched off a whole year off of my bid, just for whatever reason, just to make it seem like I did less time, to make it seem like it's less, like there's less, to add more emphasis to the fact that, oh, he thought it was so long, and it was only 2.5, like, so he's lying about that.
Even P Films, when he said that, was like, even 6 months is like something that's a good amount of time, like 2.5 years, 3.5 years, whatever. That's a lot of time.
That's almost like him, in another word, saying like that's like, what, you wanted me to do more time, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's a weirdo. Like even though a nigga could be my enemy, you heard? Like, I'm never gonna stoop to certain levels of saying certain shit, because that's just not my character. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like you could be my worst enemy, like I said, wishing jail on a nigga. Like, I'll never wish jail on you though. You know what I mean? That's just some shit that it's like, that's corny. It don't matter what type of shit we got going on. So it's like, it don't matter what type of shit niggas got going on. He's just a cornball for basically trying his hardest to basically discredit, you know, who I am, and it really didn't work, because he just kept lying about everything. Nigga said he met me 4 months before Forrest Gump came out. And mind you, Forrest Gump came out only a month before I got locked up. So the nigga said he only met me 4 months, and niggas met at least a year before all that shit happened. You feel me? And it's not like, it don't really matter, right? But the only reason why it matters is because if I sit back, and if I would have never said nothing, or if I would have kept quiet, because I'm like, yo, this nigga's a herb. Like, why am I arguing with a nigga about, you know what I'm saying, about some frivolous shit that I know he's just sitting here trying to tell a story, when at the end of the day, he still ain't get his shit back. You feel me? Like, why am I arguing with him? But if I sit here and I stay quiet about this shit, then you got a bunch of little, you know, mindless people who go to the internet for all their information, who's gonna run with this narrative, acting like, oh, he introduced me to the streets, even though I have my record sheet, when I print it out, is 24 pages. You heard? That's public knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas could Google the fact that everything he's saying is just complete lies. You heard? Like, and I don't know why people jack a rat to begin with, because at the end of the day, he got on that interview and started trying to fucking basically, without giving the specific details, he's trying to basically explain shit that's way more specific and deep into certain street level things that is not even, nobody's even asking him. Nobody, you just giving this information freely. It's like nobody asked you when or who or how, but you're like, you just giving this information freely. Just like you giving information freely when you got hopped. You was over here running around like this, GDK. You had long braids, talking about you was Cuban, talking about you was Spaniard, wearing beads all over your neck and shit like that. You was over here on some Spanish shit. You was remixing Spanish songs and doing fucking with sombreros on your head, all type of shit, you heard? And then niggas beat you up. All of a sudden you talking about growing up Italian, you cut your hair, nigga, all this different type of shit, but you still somehow trying to say that I'm not who I'm saying I am, and the only thing that changed about me, nigga, is I got dreads. Like, fuck is you talking about? Nigga's ass, you heard? The nigga's name is ABG Squill, nigga, that nigga's butt, bro. Gangster. That nigga never did nothing tough in front of me, around me. I never heard of him doing something tough. Like, I never heard of somebody being scared of him. Like, nothing of that sort. Like, I've never heard of him doing shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the funny thing is he's saying shit to the internet for people who really don't know and who aren't in tune. But anybody who did a bid from 2019 all the way up until the end of 2022 into 2023 in the state of New York will literally confirm that what he's saying is false. It's like, it's that simple. These is real, like, niggas that's locked up for more than 3.5, for 10 years and better and shit like that, and 15, or niggas that's doing all, you know what I'm saying, like doing life and shit. Like, that'll tell you, like, nigga, this nigga's butt, you heard? This nigga's butt, he freestyling. A nigga ain't never do nothing to me. I came home, niggas still ain't do nothing to me. I still got my chain on me everywhere I go. Niggas is jacking me. You a dub. You was jacking something that you can't even jack no more because you a dub. And you telling me I'm a fraud. I don't know, that shit's sad. Alright. R.I.P. to that nigga though. not on that level, but R.I.P. to the what once was. You heard, like, cause that nigga, I don't know what the fuck going on with that nigga. Okay.
Alright, yeah. So my last real question about the whole fucking thing though. It's just a hypothetical though. I'm not really though, but look, if we could set up like a boxing match between you and ABG Neal, would you do it?
Yeah, I'm with it.
You think y'all would squash the beef after, or it's like y'all just not gonna be?
The thing is not beef because in real life he's
that's what
not
I'm
trying to do. Let me just clarify. He's not looking for. First of all, he's not even frequented in places that I could just maybe possibly try to find. We're not in the common place. Like he's not. I don't never run into that nigga. I will never run into that nigga, bro. And even if I did, as you can see from the first situation, if it's on some street level shit and it really gets taken there, and whatever the case is, and niggas got to go to medical for that, what you think is gonna happen if he did it to the ops? And I'm already violating a nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's already bad blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's gonna stop the nigga from telling on me? Like, what the fuck? So we could set it up.
On top of that, why would you want to squash the beef and he was afterwards? What cool points do you get being around a rat?
Yeah, what the fuck? I could never listen, bro. I really have nothing against the nigga except for the fact that he's a complete pathological liar. He acts like he's tough, and he really does not do tough related things. You heard? He's talking about prison and jail life and all this other shit and whatever the case is, and he himself personally has never had to sit down and do a real bid. Like it just makes no sense to me, bro, that people take a nigga's word for something that he has no type of how you say he don't got no type of nothing to come with it. You know what I mean? Like nobody's vouching for this man, bro. Like I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Alright, for sure.
It's over for that nigga.
Shit, I hope we could set that up, man. That would definitely cut tensions a little bit at least, you know what I'm saying? But
there's no tension. That's the crazy thing. I just can't allow somebody to lie on my name, and then for a bunch of people who don't know how to think for themselves and simply just Google something, or simply just look at the dates, or simply just remember, like, you know what I mean? It's like shit wasn't 20 years ago, bro. Like niggas is crazy. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. And that's not the first time he got violated neither. He talking about some shit that happened when I was mad young. All this shit he talking about, niggas retarded, bro. And I never said I never ever said I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn, nothing like that. Gangsta. It's the only place I've been moving around my entire life, bro, in and out of the system. The only place I've ever lived for the longest time of my life without moving and without having to set up in a whole nother place was Brooklyn. And that's where everything in my life that is what's going on now is all as a part of Brooklyn. But it's not because of this nigga, because I was already in Brooklyn before I met him. Already had cases before I met him. Already was like that before I met him. And if that's the case, if I was such a weirdo, why is everybody not looking at the fact that if I was such a weirdo, why did he bring me around? If niggas didn't jack me, why was he still bringing me around? Nigga had no type of wave. Go look at the views of his songs. Name 3 ABG Neal hit songs before he met Krimelife Ca, and the beef is over. Niggas is talking about bum ass ABG Neal, and I was already in the same room, nigga. I was already with Comethazine. I was already with niggas like Smoke Perp. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about a nigga who's really nobody, bro. In real life, he's really nobody, bro. Like this is all I'm trying to explain. He has the gift of gab, so he has a really expert way of saying things in a way where it just makes you think that he's so like, oh, I believe him, but he doesn't have nothing to back up nothing he's saying. Like, nothing that he's saying is something that he can prove with any type of evidence. Nothing. It's just his word, because it's just his perception from his mind. Nobody else agrees with this man. Like, nobody else is standing up for him. Nobody else is like, yeah, crime this, crime that, because they can't, because they know they would be flat out lying. And real street niggas is gonna speak up for that and be like, yo, bro, nobody's speaking up about him because everybody already knows he's already a lemon. You heard? So it's like niggas is telling me stop talking about it. Like, yo, bro, don't respond to that shit. Yo, bro, you know that nigga's a dub. Yo, bro, da. But I'm like, yo, gang, like, at the end of the day, I'm tired of seeing and hearing and shit popping up, and niggas keep, because when I first came home, I wasn't throwing dirt on his name. I wasn't trying to speak on it for real. And at the end of the day, you know what I mean, niggas kept pushing at it, and then this nigga started acting like a bitch, and then I just had to, you know, I had to really show the difference between who he is and who I am, you heard? Because at the end of the day, nigga, what I rap about and what I talk about and the shit that I do, I already have a long sheet of something to back that up. And what this nigga rapped about, what he did, immediately was shown not to be true, because nigga changed his entire identity after that, nigga. Fuck you talking about? Nigga caught identity theft, nigga stole his own identity.
Matter of fact, now let's get into it though. Yeah, you was making music. How did it feel when you was like, when you made, I forgot what, Forrest Gump, then y'all just went crazy. Forrest Gump, Poster, y'all just kept going viral for me. How was that like in the moment? You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all fake ran New York, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, like
no time, man.
I ain't really like.
Did it even like click at the time?
I ain't get to experience none of that. Like, I had little moments as I was coming on, like, into this shit. Like I had like a record back in a couple years back. It was popping. I ain't even have no hair. That was probably like 2015, 2016. I had like one face tat or some shit. That shit fake got like 100K or some shit. So I was like, oh shit. And then after that, it was some shit called Red Dot. And then after that, like I just kept dropping shit. And then I did the Forrest Gump shit. And then followed up, I think, with like Freddie versus Jason, Posted. It was just mad shit that niggas had already recorded. But I had a couple like small waves before I ended up getting locked up. But like when shit really popped and like all my shit started taking off was basically like right when I got booked. And then I guess me getting booked is essentially what put more like fire underneath like the attention that I had, because I was already talking about the fact that I was going to prison in a lot of my songs, and that I was doing a lot of things out there that it's almost like I was kind of like telling niggas like in my music like y'all not gonna see me forever, and then that's what actually ended up happening. So I think like that's what kind of made it really blow up, you know what I'm saying, was the fact that niggas realized like I guess in a weird way, because people always like are worried about the negativity. It was some sense of like validation for people to be like, oh, like that's why his name is Krimelife or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was happy to see me get locked up, because it almost made them feel like
you wasn't cat rapping.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? That shit didn't really like, I didn't get to experience none of that, because all that shit happened while I was in prison.
But yeah, let's get into when you got booked. Yeah, so that shit came out of nowhere for me, at least me, when I was watching that shit at the time. Well, you came out on bail at first or something, right? You was on bail or bond or something?
Yeah, like I caught my first case in my whole situation.
What was that whole case too? Yeah, what was that whole situation?
I caught my first case on some like, I caught my first case when I was like, my first case as a part of what I went to jail for, you know what I'm saying? When I was like 17, turning 18, and I had caught a gun charge, and I had caught an assault charge, and I bailed out. But both cases were for two different boroughs. So basically I got arrested for one, and then when I got arrested and I bailed out for that one case, they basically, the other borough came and locked me up at Rikers Island, brought me back to they precinct, brought me back to the island, and then I bailed out again, and then I was home for those two. Those were the first two.
Did they ever merge the cases, or they was always two separate cases?
They was two separate cases only because they happened in different counties, like in different area codes or whatever, technically, you know what I'm saying? So, but it was all within like the span of like the same day or the same couple hours. It's just they didn't find out about one thing until they found out about the other. So essentially, like, they couldn't really just say it was one case, because they had to have two DAs, two judges from two different courthouses to settle it how they wanted to settle it. And it was two different charges, cause you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I bailed
Sometimes
out
they
for
be
that.
from merging into one case, but it be dependent. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that whole shit. How long did you do in jail when you was
I did 3.5.
3.5 years?
Straight, yeah.
Yeah, that's shit for me. So how was it? How was like your mindset the whole time? You know what I'm saying? Cause you went in super hot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that free crime. You know what I'm saying? So how was that whole mindset? That whole 3.5 years?
I was like, I felt like I was just like, I felt like I was just having like a 3.5 year anxiety attack, gangsta. That shit was just like, basically, it's just like, I was just miserable. And like, I was just trying not to show nobody I was miserable. So I was trying to like, suck it up and like, step up to the plate. And like, I had a lot of people like back home that still was like dependent on me and relying on me, like to be strong for them. And like, you know what I'm saying? And to be like that same person. Cause like right before I got locked up, I'm coming into money. I'm sturdying shit up with the music shit. So I'm taking care of business and putting shit in order. So when I went to jail, you know what I'm saying? Like it came where even though I still had my own bread, I still needed people to do certain things for me. And it's like they ended up having to take care of me for that period of time. You feel me? So that shit was just like, it went from like me taking care of my peoples and situating everything and being able to like be the man of the house or the man of the situation, whatever it is, you feel me? And then I was put in a position where like I had no control over nothing anymore. And that shit, I'm not very good with not being in control. So that shit was definitely like a bad experience, like internally, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't go through nothing like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like, my hair's longer, you heard? Like I don't got no gray hair, I don't got nothing on my face, niggas didn't touch me, like, so it's like, but mentally, like that shit fried my brain, like that shit just cooked me, like it just, and it's like so many things, so much shit, bro, like so much shit that like niggas can't even comprehend, bro. That shit just burnt my brain.
Yeah, if you ain't been in this situation, bro, a lot of people can't relate, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? That shit definitely be draining, bro, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Getting booked for something, but like, so do you feel like that getting booked that whole time, like, hurt the hype with the music? Or do you think it was other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I mean,
Do you think it killed the hype a little bit?
it's not even like, oh man, it's like,
So there's some things you can't even control, you know what I'm saying? Like,
nah, but that's the thing though, is that I was in control, and that's why like as soon as I left is why everything went to shambles. And it's like if niggas can't see that, you know what I'm saying? This is just me speaking generally, you know what I mean? Because like I know a lot of people still be like I don't know, I'm the type of person, I'm very like, I can analyze situations, you heard? Like, so I feel like if somebody was to analyze my situation, it would be pretty easy to say like, all right, this nigga was doing all these things and then he gets locked up and now all these things that was just happening basically go to shambles, you feel me? So essentially, like, when I got locked up, because I lost control of all the things that I was handling, like the people that I was expecting to step up to the plate and to handle certain things and to keep certain shit going, like it didn't go that way. So that's essentially like, it was good and bad, because everybody was like paying attention to what was going on with me because I was locked up and like I didn't tell and I was doing my time and I was making it look good, you feel me? But on the outside, niggas was doing so bad that it's like no matter how good I was doing in prison, nobody gave a fuck because nobody was with me in prison to see it. Like there wasn't no cameras, there wasn't nobody like taking pictures. Like, so everything that I did, every time that I put on, every time that I put money in niggas' pockets that they sent home to their moms or they daughters or their family, their sons, or every time that you know what I'm saying? Like whatever the case is, like I could go on, and there's niggas that know, but it's like nobody will ever really be able to show nothing for that because I just did that because that's just what I was doing. But nobody could really speak for that. You know you know what I mean, in the outside world when everybody's on the internet and seeing niggas is doing bad or doing weird shit. And it's just like, nobody's like, oh, well, you know, crime's in jail. You know what I mean? Like, nobody give a fuck what I got going. You know what I mean? Like, so.
But that's the unfortunate for me result of most of these cases. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of kids don't understand. Like, for me, once you go up top, a lot of people's words don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They don't follow through. For me, shit be changing. But for me, that's what the kids gotta understand.
Out of sight, out of mind, bro. That's like, that's what that is. You heard? Like, as soon as you gone, it's like, what is anybody really? You really know who fuck with you, because at the end of the day, like, it don't take nothing to fuck with me if I could pull up to your crib, or I could link you, or I could text you or call you, and it's like, all you gotta do is, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you gotta really pull up all the way, not even halfway, then it's like, that's how you know right there. If a nigga really gonna jack you, you heard? Nobody came, so it's like, I know niggas wasn't jacking me, or if they wasn't jacking me the way that I jacked them, or that I would have, you know what I mean? Anybody, I'm talking in general, because the only people that was coming to see me was family members, you know what I mean? So when you look at it, it's like, I don't got respect for no man at the end of the day that doesn't, you know what I'm saying, have that same energy mutually, you feel me? Because it just, you know what I mean? Like, I can't jack that. Can't jack that.
Yeah, a lot of people's true colors be shown when, for me, there's a time that you really need someone. You know what I'm saying? They either gonna do it or they don't.
Right.
That's when you find out. But on the bright note, for me, that day you got out, you know what I'm saying? How was that, for me, feeling in your head, knowing now I'm getting out today? Even the whole week, like, I'm getting out this week, shit like that. Matter of fact, when did you even get the news? How soon in advance you get the news that you gonna be released, and with the date?
6 months.
That was a long 6 months?
I mean, I only knew I was coming home in 6 months because I knew I wasn't coming home on my early release date. So
oh yeah, no, that's
true. You either
so
go home on your I mean, I had a flat bid, so it was real simple. It was either I was gonna do 3 years or I was gonna do 3.5 years, but I wouldn't do nothing less than either of those. And essentially all I had to do was like a couple little things, and they would have let me go home in 3 years. And I didn't do those things, and I got in a lot of trouble, and they was like, so you just got to stay them extra 6 months. And I had to jack that. Wow.
Yeah. Alright. But then, yeah, that day you got out, you know what I'm saying? How was that whole feeling for me, the whole day in there? Like, yeah, I'm about... Matter of fact, what time did they even let you out?
In the morning.
It was early?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, how was that wake up and then the walk out, like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know. I was just mad, like, paranoid, like, because there's been mad times, like, I was in the same jail for mad long. So, like, I heard mad different shit, like, when niggas was leaving and, like, police was, like, doing weird shit, like, trying to get niggas to, like, crash out on their last day and shit, on some weird shit.
They was on some shit like that?
Yeah, like, it was this one dude that left from my dorm, and long story short, like, nigga, they slapped him up or some shit, and he hopped it because he wanted to go home. And that's why I was paranoid, because I thought in my head, I'm like, these niggas know I'm not gonna hop it, so if they do that shit to me, then I'm gonna basically stay right here, like, is what I thought in my head. Like, I'm just like, yo, these niggas are gonna try me because they mad that I'm going home, and then I'm gonna go all out because I really just, like, feel like I have nothing, like, left to lose. And then it's just like, I'm gonna dead ass be in here for like another extra couple years. So I was mad paranoid. But when I finally got out though, cause they was talking mad shit too. Like, the whole time I'm leaving, they like, bro, every little thing I was doing, they was like, oh, do it again. And they was just doing mad dickhead shit. And I was just like, I was trying not to let that shit bother me, cause I'm like, either way, bro, I'm leaving. Like, I'm leaving. And so when I got out, when I finally got outside, I was just like, what the fuck? It was just mad weird. It was just mad weird to walk, just walk freely. It was just mad weird, son.
Shit felt like a weight lift off your chest type shit, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, it just felt like it literally just felt like when you come, like, if you had a dog and you leave your dog in the cage when you're not at the crib, and then you come to the crib and they get mad hyped, and you let them out and they just like go crazy.
Yeah.
It's just that. It's just like you just like once you get out, you're just like, nah, you dead ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like you never
like
really,
a long nightmare, bro. You just woke up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And the niggas was all smoking weed and all that because this shit is legal now, and it just everything was just like, I'm like, nah, y'all niggas is gonna send me right back to jail. I was just mad paranoid. First
you
day,
wasn't allowed to smoke even when it was legal.
nah. What you mean?
Like when you came out, what was you on parole, probation?
Yeah. It was legal.
Nah,
You could smoke. Yeah,
but you didn't know that at first?
Nah, like I was just like I said, everything. Like niggas like, oh nah, this is cool, that's cool, but and I'm just like, nah, y'all wildin', bro. Like,
cause you wanted to stay home.
yeah, like I was just like, it was just so unreal to me that I got out that I was just like, why y'all doing this right now? Y'all can't wait till we leave. I'm like, we still right in front of the jail. Like y'all can't wait. Like I was just tight because I was just like, yo, y'all niggas don't even give a fuck. But they was laughing because they like, nigga, you tripping, bro. Like that shit ain't about nothing. So. Gangsta, I had to learn like that.
But nah, I feel it though. Like you don't want to go back. You like, I just did mad wrong.
Yeah,
I'm trying to stay
I'm
on.
not trying to have to see these niggas again, bro. These niggas violated me for mad years. Like police, bro. Them niggas is crazy.
Yeah, but so yeah, you was signed to a label before you went in, and then you was still signed while you was in.
Yeah.
What label was that you was signed to? Cause me personally, I don't really
Alamo.
remember. That was Alamo.
Yeah.
And when did y'all? They was paying for your lawyers and shit too, right? And shit like that.
I mean, at first.
They didn't do it the whole. They didn't do it the whole bit.
They did mad weird shit, bro. Like, they did mad weird shit. I ain't gonna lie, gang. Like, that whole lawyer shit too. Like, they paid for my lawyers, like, to like situate my case or whatever. Like, they basically retained my lawyers. You heard? Or my lawyer, and then she has another person she works with, whatever. But like, they basically retained my lawyer, and after I got locked up, like there was still shit that my lawyer was doing or having to do for my legal matters that they said that they were supposed to cover, but they would never. I'm on the phone calling and trying to like, yo, what's up? Like, y'all got these lawyers. These is y'all peoples. You know what I'm saying? Like, pay your peoples. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know this lady. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up paying like over like 10 bands and some change.
Oh, so they never paid, but they was.
No, they paid originally. That's what I'm saying. They retained them. So they
that one time
they grabbed them. Look, they basically was like, yo, boom. This is my man's. Yo, he got these cases, and they was like, all right, copy.
Nah, but yeah, they pay for you. They pay the lawyers for like a certain time. Yeah, it's like, all right, this is the pre-trial, and then if it goes,
Nah, no trial, no trial. I copped out, pled guilty to everything. So boom.
So like, here's 10 bands, you're gonna do the whole shit. Some shit
so
like that,
yeah,
right?
basically, yeah, it was like these 3 cases. Get these cases situated and get him the best deal you could get him, because it wasn't no I'm coming home or nothing. You heard? So boom.
Yeah.
I did my shit. I got sentenced. So now, the only shit I could really ever need my lawyer for is just little petty shit, you know what I'm saying? But this is an expensive lawyer, so anything that she do and any time that she spent doing that is her time, is her money. So she's trying to build like my grandmoms and shit, because my grandmoms had power of attorney over me, because I didn't have a bank account before I got locked up. Gang, I was a teenager and then I went to jail. Yeah, so it's like I had mad bands, but I didn't have no bank account, you feel me? So they knew all this, you feel me? So like these labels is mad funny, bro, because at the end of the day, like I don't know how it would have went if I never would have took the deal, because like I don't know, because I didn't have nothing else going for me at the time. Like I knew I was gonna go to prison. I knew that I was that I was going down a path in my life that it was just like I either was just gonna dedicate my life to being a criminal in the streets, or I was like, I'm just gonna go all out with this music shit. So I just went with it. But you know what I'm saying? I ended up having to pay the lawyers like another 10, 15 bands or whatever. Like even when I got locked for the last case, I had to pay the lawyer just to show up, and I had to bail out. Boom. So then I gets locked up. So then boom. So now I'm doing my sentence. Now I have to have the lawyer set up the power of attorney. All she has to do is write up a simple ass contract. That should cost a couple bands just for her to sit there and type that up. So that my grandmoms, because like I said, these niggas gave me a check for all this money. I don't got no bank account. They know I don't got no bank account. They know I don't got no type of like, I don't know nothing nothing about
Check is
nothing.
crazy.
I don't know business. I don't know nothing. Like they know that I'm already fighting cases and I'm a full blown criminal. Like I'm going to the office. Like they know what type of it's period. They know what type of time I was on. Like I was selling drugs to niggas in the office. So it's like at the end of the day, them niggas knew I didn't know what was going on. And boom, so I get locked up. I'm paying the lawyers. They didn't pay them. They were supposed to pay them. I took that on the hop. So then once I ran out of bread, and these niggas wasn't trying to really give me no bread and write me no checks, then I just basically had to just start doing shit in there to get money and shit, you feel me? So all the bread that I accumulated, that I went home with, was not even from none of my music, because they was taking all that bread, doing whatever they was doing. Because the cost of, they wasn't paying for my food, they wasn't paying for my packages, none of that. I did all that shit myself. So commissary packages, all that shit, every month I did that shit myself. So they basically was just collecting bread off of all the streams, all the views and everything that I had going on. And that's why they kept me on the label my whole entire bid, even though I wasn't really dropping nothing and I wasn't really doing nothing crazy. So honestly, like I came home and I had 30 bands, and that 30 bands was not even from the label, you heard? And then I was still signed to them niggas. Then the niggas gave me another little check, and then we was riding out for a little bit. Them niggas was like paying for like my rent, half of my rent and shit like that, like housing, just different little shit like that, because I just came home, you feel me? I'm like, yo.
So you were still signing them when you got out?
Yeah, I was still signing to them when I got out, and I was going crazy when I came home, putting shit out and all that, and fucking basically like the drill wave and all that shit, like they got like there was a lot of shit going on before I could, like basically like the label wasn't the same label as it was before I left to when I came back, because they weren't even under the same umbrella. Before they was under Interscope, and when I got locked up, they changed from Interscope and went over to Sony. So they changed their whole everything. So the whole, how you say, people that work there, the whole fucking roster, staff, whatever, all of them that was working on my music and that fucked with me and knew me and was like supporting my shit, they all don't work there no more. So now it's these random corporate niggas from Sony that don't know nothing about me, don't give a fuck about me, and I'm coming home to these niggas and having to give them I'm putting my whole shit in their hands, like, yeah, make me lit. I just came home from prison, here's my shit, make me rich, like make me lit. And basically them niggas didn't know what to do with me, bro. Like they was just trying to get me to do like TikToks and weird shit, and just like shit that just like, it's just like they was trying to make me do shit that it's not that I didn't feel comfortable doing it, because it was like, it was just like I didn't feel comfortable doing it because that's just not really me. But they was like, oh, do TikToks and do this and do all this weird shit, and like, oh, like they was trying to like get me with drill artists and all this different weird shit, just mad corporate shit, mad Sony weird big ass corporation shit that had nothing to do with me doing what I did before I went to jail, what I did during jail, coming home and still being like, they didn't focus nothing on that, which could have, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So
basically they had their ideas, you wasn't really jacking it, and then y'all split ways type shit. It was like that.
Yeah, because basically like them niggas kept doing bad, you heard? Like, let's say my shit is supposed to drop at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but the nigga sets it up to drop at 3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit that is just like, how the fuck you fuck something up like that? Like, my debut album that came out. It wasn't even
professional.
My debut album that came out was supposed to come out at 8 p.m., came out at like 8 a.m. or some shit, or never came out. I forgot what happened, that I started blacking, and when I blacked on them, and I was like, yo, how many times y'all gonna say it's a mistake or it's whatever? And I'm like, I'm telling my fans I'm dropping at this time, y'all making me look day room because it's my music, and how is it not out? And then they was basically like, oh, you know what I'm saying, like, we feel like you a little aggressive, like, and I'm like, because nigga, I just came home from prison and y'all niggas is playing with my music, and this is my life because I don't got nothing else other than this. So I'm like, y'all think I'm gonna just sit here and play with y'all?
So it wasn't very professional type shit.
Yeah, nah, it wasn't. They was just playing games, bro. Like they was trying to basically do the same shit that they was doing with all the other artists, like Didi Osama and certain people that is just like, we don't have the same situation.
They try to line you up with Didi?
I mean, yeah, bro. Like I met that nigga before he was
Not
really
gonna
lit.
lie though, that would have been a good move.
I don't really feel like it would have been a good move, though. I'm glad it didn't happen. No disrespect to him, you feel me? But I'm saying, like, you gotta really look at it, bro. Like,
maybe not music, but I feel like y'all could have made like a funny skit or something.
oh, I mean, yeah, like I said, like I met the nigga, he was cool, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't
that
really
is a
nothing.
good feature though, too. That is a good.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? It's
I don't
not,
know. I don't
It
know.
probably it's not.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it don't. Yeah, you're not gonna rock with it. You know what I'm saying?
You know
If
what I mean? Like I ain't
if
gonna
you
lie,
don't want
bro.
to make music with somebody you don't feel like you're gonna make music,
I
good music
came up-
with, then don't even do it.
I came
you know
up
what
in
I'm
the
saying?
era where I was making music with comethazine and smoke perp and like
fact.
I'm a
That's
New
a fact.
York nigga, but like I'm not like in this small, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm not in this small box of like I've only ever been to fucking the 5 boroughs. You see what I'm saying? Like it reached way farther than that. So it's like I'm not coming home to do what New York is doing because that's not ever what I did. You heard? Like gangster. Like so that's why that shit didn't work, bro, because them niggas was trying to turn me into some like some robot, you heard? And that did not work for me, bro. And then they already collected all that bread off of me, so they was like, what the fuck we need to even do this for? Because I was just basically like G-checking them and just going crazy and saying mad shit, and they just wasn't trying to hit my mouth because everybody else on the label is hopping it and just jacking it, you feel me? So that they could keep staying on the label. So as I'm speaking out about other shit that niggas didn't want to speak out about because they was scared, that's why they dropped me, basically.
Yeah, that unfortunately how it is though too with the industry, bro. Like you feel me? It's not all this painted up to be. You know what I'm saying? You gotta kiss ass, do what these label people are telling you. They don't really, you don't think they know what they talking about because they some goofies. But you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You feel me? That's the unfortunate truth of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
if I'd have
like,
stayed independent, I'd have been
it all
rich.
depends on the label too. Like some labels will probably let you rock. You know what I'm saying? They'll probably be like, nah, you right. You know, some of them give creative control, but some of them more about their bread. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Nah,
like
them
they
niggas was real like different. Them niggas, they ain't even, yeah, them niggas is shiesty, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Them niggas is, they criminals. Fuck that. I ain't a criminal. Them niggas is criminals. Gangster.
So boom, yeah, you was making a lot of music with ABG Neal. You know what I'm saying? Posted, Forrest Gump, y'all had your own little run. You know what I'm saying? Y'all whole group. What happened for me? When you got booked, it was all good for me. It was still chilling and all that. I think he dropped a song with a feature with you or something when you was still booked. But then when you came home, everybody thought y'all was gonna make a song together, and you came home and then everybody found out that wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I ever seen you really. Maybe on No Jumper, but other than that, I don't think I really saw you like clear it up on what happened with y'all. But for those who don't know, like what happened with you and ABG Neal.
See, the thing with that is like I said before, bro, like I'm the type of person, I analyze shit, and I feel like niggas don't be analyzing shit, bro. Like I don't know why niggas would think. I mean, I guess I could see because, like I said, I didn't get to really control the narrative while I was in prison. So it's like whatever was going on in the town, niggas was, but like, bro, I don't know why niggas would think that I was gonna come home, like, to do anything with somebody who, like, is not even the same person that, like, I once knew, and on top of that I haven't seen in so many years that it's just like I literally don't know this nigga. You heard? Like let's really just cut to the chase. Like I do not know that man, bro. I literally don't know him. Like I'm not even trying to be funny. No. Listen. I literally do not know who that person is. You heard? Like that's the only way I could put it. So what I'm saying is that at one point I knew a nigga who looked like that. You heard? And at one point, I knew a nigga who looked like that, but he was just a whole different type of bop, you heard? And essentially, I don't know that man at all. Like, I didn't know this nigga was like a full-blown Italian. Like, I didn't know, like, I literally didn't know certain shit that is like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, gangster, like, where I'm like, and I'm hopping shit. Yo, word of my mother, I'm in jail and niggas is playing with me, bro. Like, not playing with me. Niggas wasn't playing with me. Niggas like, yo, yeah, ABG bands, right? You know, because at that point, it's like, he's just a running joke, you heard? So it's like...
That was after the whole incident?
Yeah, and I'm like, and I was still defending it on some type shit because I'm like, I'm so loyal, but it's like, I'm loyal to a fault. So it doesn't even, sometimes I'm loyal and it don't even make sense. So it's like, niggas is like, yo, you still fuck with that nigga? And word of my mother, it was already at a time where we wasn't even talking or nothing because that shit dried up real quick, you heard? Like, I was on the island for a couple months, niggas never popped out, niggas never showed up, cool, whatever. Then on top of that, I went up top and I was in fucking reception for however long I was in reception for. I was in mad different jails, bro, you heard? Like, and people from all different places came to see me, you heard? But long story short, like, I don't know who that is, you heard? Like, that nigga is like a mechanic now or something, like I don't even know, bro. Like, gangster, comedian, like a street, like, I don't know, bro, because I knew this one nigga and he was like on some tough shit, you feel me? His name was ABG Neal, but them niggas is not the same person as you could see, bro, so I don't know who that is. Gangster. I've not seen that nigga since I was 19 years old, 20 years old. I'm about to be 26, gang. I'm about to be 30, you heard? I'm closer to 30 than I am to the age that I was when I knew that man. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck niggas was thinking. Like, it's like, I don't know, that shit be blowing mine, bro. Gangster, because it's like, what about that relationship was like, oh yeah, there's such a strong bond there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did they see? Because it's like, what really happened that was like, oh yeah, they cool. Like, in what way, gang? Like, I don't even understand that shit, homie. Like, that shit is bizarre to me. It's just they wanted it so bad that they made it up in their minds that it was just like we was best friends. And it was like what really happened is I was jacking somebody that at one point I really fucked with based off of some things that I felt niggas had mutual morals and principles, you heard? And as soon as niggas was separated in a way where the dynamic of the situation changed because certain things and certain factors were no longer there. Like I said, bro, let's take it back to what I said before. You already see what happened when crime was there, when crime is not there. So it's like there was something that was there, something that was missing. Now shit changed. I think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like niggas couldn't do what was being done without me because they wasn't the ones that did it, and they wasn't the ones that was putting it together. They wasn't the ones that was outside because I'm the one. That's why I went to jail. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why I never got beat up. That's why I still, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I went to jail because the shit I was talking about and the way I was living, I wasn't trying to portray something. I was just expressing myself. But I was with somebody who was using my really being out there and really being like if I was a crash dummy, you heard? Like, and that's not the case, you heard? Like, I'm far more intelligent than that, bro. Gangster.
Alright. So if I'm understanding correctly, it wasn't even really mostly because the envy came when they jumped him and shit. It was more because you feel like he wasn't showing you love when he was locked type shit.
When he got beat up by the ops, I'm all the way on the other side of the fucking state in prison getting back. You heard? Like, let's just put it that way, you heard? So it's like, for a nigga who not even standing on business, and for the fact that I'm like so loyal to a fault, like I said before, that it's like I'm putting myself in situations where I'm risking my freedom and I'm risking my time and I'm risking certain shit and putting myself out there so that I could feel like I'm putting numbers up on a scoreboard that don't even exist. You see what I'm trying to say? Because at the end of the day, I'm literally blinded thinking that some whole shit is happening that's not even existing. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, and it's like, this nigga's over here like tucking his tail like, all right, yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'm not on that no more. Never mind. I'm going to do this now. Like, forget about it, all right? Just leave me alone. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I can't do that, you heard? Like, I can't just be pussy today, you heard? Like, it's not possible. Like, I can't just wake up and be like, nah, fuck that. I'm sex now. Like, it don't work that way, bro. I done did too much shit and I done went through too much. If I would have did that, I could have just not even went to prison. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do my whole bid, not tell. Niggas already comparing me. Oh, yeah, you look like 6'9". Oh, Post Malone. But I'm punching niggas in they shit, though. And at the end of the day, I came home, I didn't tell, and niggas didn't do what I did. Nigga, gangster. Ask anybody from 2019 to 2022 that was anywhere in New York State correctional facilities, my nigga. And they're going to tell you exactly what I did, bro. And it's nothing like what that nigga did, nigga. Period. It's that simple, nigga. I was doing what he had happened to him to other niggas, nigga. By myself at that, nigga. Gangster. And I didn't have to neither, nigga. Because I felt like it, nigga. The fuck? Gangster. And that's why I had to do 3.5 instead of 3, nigga. Like, let's really talk about it, nigga. Niggas is sex.
Nah, yeah. You definitely, yeah. That means you was definitely
And I got tickets too. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was definitely
niggas is sex, bro.
causing wreck on there.
Gangsta.
Doing everything. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, last squad for me. There's no way I could ever, like, let's say, there's no way I could ever squash. Like, it's it. You know what I'm saying?
Why though? Like,
I don't know.
That's all I want to know. Like, what reason would I have to do that? And then maybe I'll be like, you know what? That makes sense.
I'm not gonna convince you to do it.
No.
Like,
I'm just saying, like, all right. So
it's
like,
more like if he.
what do the fans say then? Like, what do they like, or what does anybody say? Like, what? Because obviously you're not asking me because it's just you personally. It's a general thing everybody wants to know.
Nah, all right. So it feel like, look, right, from like my outside point of view, when you came home, I feel like when you was locked up the whole time, ABG numbers was going down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it could have been because of
That's
the
you
MVK
evaluating
shit.
things.
Yeah.
There you go, analyzing shit.
It could have been because of the fucking MVK and shit, but it also could have been because y'all was really like a pack. You know what I'm saying? Y'all blew up at the same time together, and y'all just blew up as a duo. You know what I'm saying?
It's pussies and rats that's lit right now. So all that getting beat up, that don't mean nothing.
So about what, the drill scene?
Anyway, anybody in music in general, it's not even cool to be tough no more, bro. Gangsta.
Yeah.
If you tough, you just doing it for yourself, brother. You don't get no points for being tough no more, homie. Like, gangsta.
Alright, so let me ask you, you heard about the whole Gunna situation? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you talking about Gunna, YSL?
YSL, yeah. For me, they're saying he copped the plea, whatever. How you feel about that whole shit? Like, you not lose respect for him or no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that nigga in any type of way, so I never had any respect for him, but, like, I just feel like that shit is weird because, like, for a case to still be going on and you the only nigga that copped out, that's some selfish shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how you want to look at it, because any way that you look at it, you're pleading guilty, so you're showing some type of wrongdoing no matter what you're pleading guilty to. So once they have one person, I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna, like, that don't mean that the whole case nothing, but it's like if you do that, it's like you wasn't worried about nobody but yourself, you feel me? Like, that's some whack shit. Because none of them other niggas, like, a lot of them other niggas, from what I see on, like, what they be showing of the case and shit, a lot of them niggas is holding that shit down and, like, not saying certain shit. So it's like, he could have did that same shit. You feel me? That's some pussy shit. Like, nigga, hold it down. Everybody's locked up. Fuck, you like, special? You gotta be the only nigga in the town?
I think the only thing he really said, though, was, they was judge asked YSL again. He was like, yes.
Yeah, that's the word. Like, nigga could have said anything else, like, and it wouldn't have been that bad. How you gonna say the one thing? This whole case is surrounded on, is this a gang? And he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's nigga. Like, I don't condone no ratting, but that's like the highest form. Like, he was just like, yeah, all right, bet, I'm off this.
So was you in jail? Was you out when 6ix9ine like basically ratted on that whole shit? And everybody was like, yeah, we not fucking with 6ix9ine no more. Everybody, even civilians was saying that shit.
His shit was already happening before I got knocked. But when I got knocked, I think is when he had that federal shit. The federal shit, because he was like having little shit before that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't already like, I don't think
then
he was
got
already
indicted on some stuff.
I think I was locked up for that because a lot of the homies went down in that shit, bro. Like, a lot of good niggas, you know what I'm saying? A lot of good niggas that a couple, you feel me? Like, a couple of the homies went down in that shit, bro, that a lot of niggas care about and know about. And it's like, so yeah, niggas was talking about that. I think I was locked up when that shit happened for a lot of those indictments.
Yeah, basically, 6ix9ine was cooperating and all that, and the whole world was like, yeah, nah, we're not jacking. We're not, nobody, they was boycotting him. The radio stations wasn't playing him and shit.
He's still doing what he want.
But then Gunna, just now, for me, he ain't full on rap, but he's basically, you know, YSL's
and everybody's jacking him, right?
Nobody batting the eye. They still bumping his shit. They full on gangsters bumping his shit, jacking.
I think it's just because his music is so much better.
But how do you feel about? Do you think they should have the same energy, or you just feel like you don't even fucking matter?
I don't listen to Gunna.
You know,
Gangsta, I don't listen to Gunna.
If somebody play Gunna right now, you can be like, turn it off.
Probably, I'm gonna say something. I might not turn it off because that's just like, I don't got, like, that's extra. That's a level of hater.
Nah, not literally turn, but like, yo.
Niggas not playing no Gunna in my car. Exactly. Niggas is not reciting Gunna lyrics around me because I'ma just feel like you condoning rattinism. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just jacking ratting, like.
Yeah, I feel like, bro, if you was one of them people saying, nah, fuck 6ix9ine, we not bump, you can't, you gotta have the energy for Gunna, bro. Real
Yeah,
shit.
that's crazy
He
contradiction.
ain't rat on me.
Yeah, he ain't rat on me. Now he ain't rat on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
that's
6ix9ine, like, nah, fuck 6ix9ine.
That's
Y'all
ass.
fucking rat. Got civilians hating this man for ratting. They not even do nothing. Like, you know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
it was lit when them niggas beat him up at the gym. Cause the crazy part is, let's really talk about it though. The crazy part is this man told on mad gangsters, you heard? And he got beat up at fucking what was it, 24 hours? Some
LA Fitness,
Planet
bro,
Fitness.
yeah.
Got spanked by some bullhead niggas. Like, that shit was some regular
Retired gang members.
Yo,
like,
that
bro.
shit is crazy because it's like that nigga's supposed to be in the ground 100 feet deep, and it's like the worst thing that happened was he got punched, bro. That shit is crazy. Imagine, nigga, like imagine, bro. That's crazy, gang. Imagine. That's crazy, bro. Imagine if it was like the 90s and niggas was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the gym after indicting the hood, like. It's crazy, Scott. Niggas is really on a different type of time right now. That nigga's like, he's a weird type of gangster, bro, because he's not tough, but he's so delusional.
He not afraid to die.
Yeah, like, I don't know what, I don't know, bro, but that nigga's so delusional that he's just like, he's a danger to himself and others, word.
You heard he got like indicted like 3 times in Dior now? Like he flipped country, went to Dior, now he's super gangster in the Dior again. We're like, yo, what the fuck? You didn't learn nothing from that whole shit?
Nah, I heard he was fucking like on Wells BM or something. I know that.
Yeah, nah.
Gangster.
They talking too Spanish. I'm not trying to like tap into that whole fucking thing. But
Nah, yeah, that shit's hard to keep up
They
with.
in their own fucking world over there.
Gangster.
Like, fuck it though. But now I gotta ask you too. Alright, so there's one person, feel me, he used to make music, yeah, he used to be with him. I don't know if he really more ABG mans or your mans or
My
both.
son
but
Al Benji.
what the fuck happened to Al Benji, bro? Like,
Yo, my son,
I ain't gonna lie, he disappeared,
Yo, bro, but this is what I'm trying to say, bro. Like, what am I supposed to do, bro? Like, who the fuck am I at this point? Like, what am I, a fucking dog the bounty hunter? Like, not saying you, but it's like, yo, Scrap, I come home and it's like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where'd everybody go? Like, I didn't do 10 years, nigga. I didn't fucking do 25 to life. Nigga, I did 3.5 joints, bro.
Bro, he
like,
disappeared on you too.
Yo, bro, that nigga, he was, I ain't gonna lie, bro, he was doing right. Like, he was tapped in for like a little minute through my bid, you heard? And then when that shit happened or whatever the case is, like after the situation and everything started kind of like dying down and everybody peeped that like this nigga was ass and shit, he just went missing, and I was like asking niggas,
did he do some shit that made him ass or?
No, I'm saying when niggas found out that ABG was ass.
Oh.
So when that happened, basically after that, mad niggas just started like disappearing and just going their separate ways and shit. But like, let's say I was like in a group of like, let's say 10 or like, let's say 5 to 10 people, right? Like, word of my mother, bro, Gangsta on my rock, it's like literally one nigga out of that group that I'm still close with, bro. And it's not because like I'm like, oh fuck y'all niggas or none of that. It's like I wouldn't even be able to tell you where nigga. Last time I heard of Al Benji, word of my mother, I'm not even joking, bro. Nigga said that nigga grew his hair out. You heard he got long locks, and the nigga that he's somewhere fucking, he's an Italian too, you heard? But he was always jacking his Italian shit though, you heard? But that nigga, he's over like having mafia meetings, you know, eating fucking pasta and shit. I don't know what that nigga's doing. He's in the cut, you heard?
Bro,
he must be doing good.
No social media. I was looking for
my son is
fuck he go? Like,
yeah,
he was working up too. Like, he was going up, bro. Like,
free Al Benji. It would be crazy if I had that nigga locked in my basement or some shit and I was just making him record mad songs every day and then I was just gonna release like a whole compilation album of just mad Al Benji shit and let him out. That shit would be crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, that'd be some interesting shit, bro.
Gangsta, maybe
what the fuck was that song he made? He made some song, bro.
I'm moving weight, fitness.
Yeah.
Yo, son, niggas is sending me videos on the kiosk and I'm like, yeah, my boy, he was going crazy.
Nah, he
said, hey, yo, free my nigga Crime, you heard? He had the boxing gloves. That shit was dumb funny. I got that video on my phone, gang. I be watching that shit just to laugh. I got mad videos, like mad old videos that I just be like, yo, niggas really was like, I feel like niggas was like, niggas was like secret agents or some shit, bro. Like, you know how like you ever just be around somebody and really think you know somebody, and then it just like it get to the point like you see how these niggas just disappear and like change their identities. Like, that's not weird, bro. Think about that for a second. That's not like, that don't give you federal agent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy, gang. Like,
I don't know. Like,
I don't know, bro. Like, you got niggas who used to be
he
like,
ain't even do nothing. Like, nothing even happened. You know what I'm saying?
you got niggas that was
happened.
like famous, basically. Like, he was famous, bro. Like, he had his own wave too. You heard? And like, to
he
just
did.
like fall off the face of the earth is giving like CIA. You heard? Like, it's giving like Operation Blazing Torch. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Niggas is
true.
double agents, bro. Gangster.
Yeah, but yeah, alright. So yeah, you came home, and the whole fucking what was it, Bronx drill at that point was going crazy.
Yeah.
Then you got when you was Brooklyn drill was going crazy.
Yeah.
Did you tap into Brooklyn at all?
What you mean when I was locked up?
Yeah, like was you ever listen to none on the radio?
Oh hell yeah! Like when I was first locked up, Drewski was playing my shit on the island on like Sundays. I forgot, Saturday, Sunday, some shit like that. But that was when Forrest Gump was out, and word of my mother, I was on the tier, and niggas was listening to my song, and they didn't even know it was me, gang. I swear to God, they was singing the words and all that, dancing and shit. And I'm like, you know that's me, right? And niggas was like, fuck out of here. And I really had to like convince niggas and show niggas, and then at a certain point, certain niggas started really like, oh yeah, matter of fact, oh yeah, that is the ape. And then niggas like, yeah, so yeah, I was like listening to Drewski every weekend on the radio, you heard, and fucking whatever was like hot and that was coming out at that time, I was bumping that shit, and fucking yeah, that was basically it. Like, I was tapped in. Like, even Chef and Sleepy, when they did the remix, like I wasn't really like I wasn't around for that neither, you heard. So that was fake. Like when I heard that, I was like, oh nah, this shit tough, you heard. Gangsta niggas bodied that shit. So I was just basically like, like I said, it wasn't real for me. Like all that like famous, being lit, all that other shit. Like I always like all that shit was happening, but I was in a situation where like none of it felt like it was happening to me. It just felt like it was happening all around me. You know what I'm saying? But like even when Chef and Sleepy hopped on the remix and shit, I was like, oh, it's up. Like,
he was booked when that happened too.
Yeah, I was booked.
They put some cardboard. Yeah,
everything, bro. I was booked.
That was
everything.
a lit time too, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
So they had the red flag around the fucking cardboard cutout. I'm like, yo, that's tough. Like, I'm watching videos of this shit on the kiosk, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, them niggas really put me in the video. Like, I'm showing niggas gangsta on the tablet. I'm like, yo, look, gang, like that's me. Like, how the fuck you did that? I'm like, bro, y'all niggas day room like gangsta, but it was lit gangsta. That was tough, I ain't gonna lie. Like, it was cool. It would have been cooler, obviously, if I could have like experienced it myself and built that, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I feel like y'all would have went on another planet with that shit. Y'all was on that route, I ain't gonna lie.
Hell yeah, free Chef too, I ain't gonna lie. Gangsta.
That's a fact, free
Gangsta, free the bro. Gangsta.
Alright, yeah, so now recently, yeah, we've been seeing from me, Mr. Don't Drink Green, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know that, you know the vibes.
So where the fuck that come from, bro? Like, obviously you had some type of fucking
had an epiphany.
Experience where you just like, nah, fuck green.
Gangsta.
You know what I'm saying?
I had a fucking epiphany, bro, where like, cause I ain't gonna lie, like everybody, like at one point in time, everybody drank some green, you heard? Cause how you gonna know you don't like it if you ain't try it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. That's the most common one.
Yeah, and that's see that, there you go, that's strike one right there. It's too easy to access that shit, you heard? So I come home and niggas is like showing me all this green and shit. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I pour up here and there, whatever. And it was a minute after I came home that I was trying to situate a new drink plug, cause nigga, I've been out the game for a couple years, you heard? So I'm trying to get a drink plug. Everybody's having green, whatever. I'm scoring like a couple, I'm scoring like a 4 here, an 8 there, but like I didn't really have a plug where like they was trying to sell me pints. Niggas was on some like scare shit with that shit, you heard? So anyways, I landed a plug. And when I landed a plug, I copped them out. I went crazy. I got mad pints, you heard? So I was on this like kick for for like, I don't even know, for like a couple months straight of just like every day I was just sipping drink, you heard? Like,
it was green though?
Nah, that's what I'm saying, real drink. Like I had some pie, I had some par, I had some tris, I had mad different shit, you heard? And fucking, I was drinking every day, gangster. And then when I ran out, I'm hitting niggas didn't have no drink. The plug that I had got the drink from was OT and shit. So niggas was bringing me all this green and shit, trying to give me just free green and shit. And I'm like, I don't want this shit, nigga. Like, this shit making me tired. Like, this shit putting me to sleep. Like, I'm trying to get smacked. So niggas gave me some green, and I tried to sip it just because I was just like, let me see if this shit gonna make me feel like, yo, that shit got me so mad, bro. Like, I sipped that green, and the way I the way I didn't feel what I wanted to feel got me so mad, bro, that I went on a rant, and I'm just like, I was just sitting there like I'm like, yo, niggas really drink this shit, bro? Like, gangs, like I'm sitting here going back and forth. I'm like, yo, niggas really like purposefully drink this shit, like, and really like dead ass though. Like, I'm like, niggas really just gave me this shit, bro. Like, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm not drinking this shit ever again. Like, I was telling a bro too, one of my mans, like, a couple of the bros be fucking with that shit. And I'm like, yo, I'm telling a bro, I'm like, yo, it's a dub for that shit, you heard? Like, don't bring that shit around me. Don't show me that shit. Like, you bring that shit around me, I'm gonna pour that shit out. Like, I'm tight of all this green I'm seeing. And then niggas got some more pints of that shit. And I was like, nah, I'm not playing no more. So I fuck around and I dumped that shit out all in the toilet so I could show niggas. Like,
that was the viral video?
Yeah, I'm like, nigga, I wanted niggas to know, like, if you even think to mention the word green or promethazine to me, that this will be the result. Cause I'm not jacking that, bro. Don't drink green. Do not drink green. Boycott green. Go gangster. Tired of that shit. Gangster.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people been jacking that. Not really jacking like you jacking it, but a lot of people been saying like, nah, fuck green, you know what I'm saying?
Gangster.
For a minute.
My son got a pint of green right now.
Yeah?
For no reason. Like, for no reason, gangster. Niggas is prescribed that shit, bro. That shit is like, oh my, I wish they would fucking prescribe me some green, my nigga, so I could fucking throw that shit across the fucking doctor's office. Like, the fuck is you doing? Fuck is you disrespect me like this for, bitch? This is a Benadryl. I could just take a Benadryl for that. Like, niggas don't even know. Like, you could literally Google the shit. If you read anything, you know what you're doing. Like, it's that simple. Read the back of anything. Should say antihistamine, my nigga. The fuck? I don't need no antihistamine. I need a opiate. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get high. I'm not trying to get sleepy, and I don't need to blow my nose. Like, that shit is crazy, gangster.
Dude, that green shit knock you right the fuck out. That's
yeah, I don't like sleeping, bro.
Man.
I'm like against sleep, you heard? I don't like sleep. I'm anti-sleep. I don't even like people who sleep.
K?
Yeah, like, nah, on some G shit. Like, I get tight when my bitch be sleeping. I be looking at her like, oh my God, you disgust me. Like, anybody who I see sleep, and like, I feel like if you do some crazy shit and you tired or something, and it's like, oh yeah, like you was just doing da-da-da-da, I'd be like, alright. But like, if I just see you sleep casually, like, I feel disrespected by that, gangster. Like, I don't like that shit. Don't sleep around me. Yeah, don't sleep unless it's like bedtime or something, and take that shit over there.
So what you be doing when you catch a man sleeping in front of you? You going?
The niggas don't
let him rock. You going?
Niggas don't sleep around me, gangster.
You gonna wake him up?
Yeah, niggas don't sleep around me, bro.
So how you go? You can just go naturally. You gonna pour some water?
It depends on who it is. You know what I'm saying? It's special treatment for everybody. You heard? But it depends on who it is. But like, I don't jack that, bro. I be catching niggas. I be, what you doing, bro? You sleeping? Like, fuck is wrong with you, bro? You alright? Gang, so I don't like that shit. Do not sleep around me. But I don't know, if you gonna sleep, do that shit like, I don't know, niggas be sleep. Yo, bro, people be sleeping all day, bro. I feel like if you sleep all day, you might as well just kill yourself. Gangster. What the fuck is the point of sleeping all day? That's what niggas do in prison, you heard? Like, that shit is nuts, bro. I come home and I see niggas, oh yeah, sleeping, it's 3 o'clock, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing, gang? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Yo, Ape, yo, what you, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, homie? I really get mad with that shit. It's like, yo, bro, you wanna sleep? Go to fucking hell, nigga. Like, what the fuck? You wanna sleep, nigga? Like, what is the point of sleep? What do you gain from sleep, my nigga? Guy, yo, I swear to God, I be arguing with my bitch like every other day about some sleep-related antics. It's like, what are you sleeping for? Like, well, I was tired, I had a headache. Like, I bet, like, sleep. You want to sleep, and there's people.
So my son don't sleep. You don't sleep at all?
I sleep rarely, and when I sleep, I sleep mad uncomfortable. You heard? I toss, I turn, I be having mad shit on my mind.
So how long you be sleeping for when you go to sleep?
I'll probably fall asleep around like 1, 2 in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning, and like I get back up at probably like 7, 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Like every day, or like shorter than that. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I wake up, I can't go back to sleep. So if anything wakes me up, it's lit.
So you got insomnia type shit.
I guess,
basically, yeah.
But when I be having when I be having my
like
mix
sleeping,
of certain medicinal things, then I be able to sleep more soundly. You heard? But that's
So you drink mad lean, you not tired?
See, like, it's different, like, with an opiate like that. Like, for somebody who's, like, been doing that shit for so many years, like, that shit, like, gives you energy in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, like, if I get tired on drink, it's not, like, tired where I really just need to, like, take a nap. It's, like, tired because, I'm smacked, but it's, like, I'm coherent. So, it's, like, I'll be sitting here smacked, and I'll be, like, fake dozing off. But like I'm listening and paying attention to everything, so it's like nigga, like I'm on point. Like somebody will say something, like yo crime, this nigga over here smack, and I'll be like, no I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. But like the green, like nigga, that shit'll really like I'll be like this, like eyes feel like got like 50-pound weights on them. I don't like that shit. Gangsta.
Oh, so that's why my son don't like that shit. My son was
I'm anti-sleep, yeah.
Sleeping on that shit.
Nah, yeah, that shit got me tight, bro. I drank that shit. That shit had me mad tired, and I was just like aggressive. Like I was just very.
At least you know that's something up though with that shit, cause it's like, you know what I'm saying. If lean don't usually make you tired, you drink green, now all of a sudden you tired. You like there's something up with that shit.
Not meant for me.
So it makes sense.
I don't like sleeping, so I'm not gonna drink liquid sleep.
Gangsta though.
Wow.
Alright. So yeah, what's next for Crime? What we from? We got anything planned? EPs, features?
Shit, I'm about to drop this new merch.
That shit didn't drop yet?
Nah, hell no.
Okay.
Like it's gonna drop tomorrow, matter of fact.
Oh
so
shit.
Yeah, I'm about to throw the link
so
up.
That shit gonna be out by the time they watching, huh?
Yeah, hell yeah, gangsta.
Yeah.
Definitely go cop your
in.
hoodie, your shirt, tap in. But yeah, so I'm about to drop the new merch. And I got a couple different projects that I'm working on right now with artists that's not from the towns. Like I got a project with my mans from Cali, my son Flashy B. I got some shit. I ain't gonna lie, I got like a lot of different shit that people probably not gonna be expecting. You heard? Like gangsta. But I've been trying to take it. Like, I've been trying to expand from the music shit. Like, I still be doing the music shit and all that, but I'm trying to build myself up more as, like, an entrepreneur and a businessman, you know what I'm saying? Cause
yeah, I feel like right now, in our current time, it's a lot more than just music. You know what I'm saying? Like, the music speaks a little bit short, but gotta have character, you know what I'm saying? Gotta be, for me, you used to be mad funny on your shit, you know what I'm saying? On IG, on get back on that shit, you know what I'm saying? For me,
that's the prison
shit,
shit, bro.
With the green, you did this shit with the green.
Nah, yeah, I be having my moments.
Went viral, you know
I be having my moments, gang. I be having little like lapses where
you gonna
I'm
get
like,
back into it though. I already know you gonna get back into that shit, bro. But it's like it's so easy to go viral. That's what I'm trying to. For me, you did that shit the green, viral.
Gangsta.
Do some other shit, viral. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it all be about right now. It's like the more viral you go, then you dropping music, then it's like, oh, now let me tap in because I saw he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what they be doing. But it's like, yeah. So I know you was outside with the apes and all that shit. So recently Kyle Rich was seen at a store throwing up the rock, which is, you know, the ape hand sign and shit like that. What's your feelings on that? Do you co-sign that? Do you any of that shit? Do you have any feelings towards it or?
I don't co-sign nothing that I don't have nothing to do with. So I don't know. A lot of people, I ain't gonna lie, like it's funny too. People really like to tend to forget. They catch amnesia. You heard? But like I'm really one of them niggas that really made that shit cool. You heard? Like I really had niggas. I really made niggas have, you know what I mean? Throwing the rock up. Had niggas really, you know what I'm saying? Like civilians. It don't matter who. Different sets. Whatever the case is. Like I really made that shit cool. You heard? Gangsta. So I could really see. You know, a lot of people be doing that shit because they think it's cool. You know what I mean? Or because they maybe might be around certain niggas and it gives them something to feel like, like identify with. You know what I mean? Like I don't really see him as that. I don't jack that. You know what I mean? Like I ain't really heard nothing about it. And honestly, like, you know what I mean? Like niggas be weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like certain shit. Niggas be having, I don't know, I seen some shit, some fruity shit with that nigga on the internet and all type of shit. I don't know what's going on with that. The internet be weird sometimes, but I ain't gonna lie. You ain't gonna find no shit on the internet with me doing no mook shit. So, I don't know, that shit not silver to me, but niggas be doing what they want. I don't know, bro. So, I don't know what that nigga doing.
Know what I'm saying? 2024, we're gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah, gangsta.
You know what I mean?
Gangsta.
Alright, yeah. It's Krimelife, you already know. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me,
we gonna tap in soon for the part 2, real soon type shit. But yeah.